You're listening to Zoom the TBT with Charge and Hayner.
Hey guys, Charge Hayner at Zoom the TBT, and tonight we have Delroy James of Program for Autism, the returning last year's finalist from TBT. Delroy, how are you doing tonight?
I'm chilling. Actually, pretty excited for this. It's always good to get into TBT mode.
Yeah. I mean, and this comes through quick too. I mean, you're looking at rosters get locked down in June and starting games just after mid-July. So hopefully you're recovered from the professional season you just played and rested up and ready to go for TBT.
Yeah, I feel pretty good. I didn't play as much as I wanted to this season, so I feel like I'm extra rejuvenated, extra rest up.
That could be
trouble.
Yeah,
definitely. And you're coming back. You're coming back from a great run last year too, because you guys got all the way to the final. You won the Rucker, which was sort of a really interesting tournament. First of all, like going back to last year, how awesome was that run to get all the way to the final?
Man, of course it was bittersweet because we ended up losing, but just it took me to a different feel. It took me back to the college feel. It took me back to the reasons I love the game of basketball. It took me back to it was everything about it. It was pretty dope. You know, my son being born at the time. We won the semifinals game. He was born that day. I didn't say nothing. Just all that whole moment was just filled with joy, filled with like big time joy. And honestly, yeah, we lost, but I wouldn't trade that month and a half like for anything. It was dope.
I'd forgotten about that. Yeah, you were talking about the post game of one of the games in Dayton about actually becoming a father again. I totally forgot we had that conversation that year. Yeah, That was crazy. How electric was the atmosphere at Rucker last year? Like, so we were both there, and I remember I've never been to the Mecca before. It's my first time even being a New Yorker, being in the Mecca.
Wow.
How exciting was it to play in that atmosphere?
Well, being from New York, playing in Rucker before and playing for the cause, and then what you're playing for, when I say it was dope, it was crazy. Family, friends coming on, it being on ESPN. They had Chick-fil-A outside. I have people I grew up with watching the game. It took me like it was like, wow, like you here, so you gotta, like, we just had to. I felt like my team had to leave out of there. If we went there and just lost the first game in Dayton or whatever the case, but my team had to win there because I feel like we were the home team to an extent. So it was dope. I love playing on the blacktop. A lot of people don't really like it, but I was a huge fan of it, man. It was pretty dope.
Yeah, so why don't you tell us a little bit about the cause? So obviously, three of the guys on the team have children with autism, and we talked offline a little bit about getting that foundation really kind of off the ground last year, and hopefully growing it on that today. So tell us a little bit about the foundation you created and how it was created.
Well, through the run with Autism Army, I felt like I could have did it before, but it just got me to really connecting with people that really lives with this, like I do daily with my oldest son being on the spectrum. So the name of it's called Jalen Spectrum. My son's name is Jalen, and with it we've done like try to do like giveaways, or even within a school, try to do things to help motor skills with kids, tying their laces, just little events here and there with that, trying to just build it into something. Like, you just have a lot of stuff. You have like Autism Speak. You have the couple of charities that helped us last year. So I'm just trying to build it, trying to put it out there, because if we kind of make the same run as we did last year, and that is being out there, a lot of people connect with it because it hits them on a personal level, because it is a spectrum, and the spectrum is high and low, and it's in the middle. It goes from every little parts. Like, you could say this kid has autism and he's totally different than this kid on the spectrum. So just to know it, like, it's so broad with how many people like deals with it, I think that we could create that and just try to build.
Yeah, definitely. And also, one thing I find interesting, and maybe I'm on the website right now of Jalen Spectrum, which is a very nice website, and definitely people should go there and see about it. It is, by the way, jalenspectrum.org. Can you explain the significance of the puzzle piece? I always wondered about that.
Yeah, I guess that's not me. Honestly, that's I want to say maybe whoever's the biggest foundation. I think they created the publicity and aligned it with autism. Yeah, and when I seen it, I was like, oh, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, no, and that run last year was just incredibly inspiring. So it was pretty cool to see not only the game on the court, which you guys were very successful, but post game interviews and just really seeing the passion for the cause and your foundation was just phenomenal. And oh, hey, there's Griffin coming in. How you doing, Griffin?
He's checking audio, so get here in just a second.
There he is.
Almost there. Nice shirt, by the way. That's a happy.
I'm mute still.
You're still muted, Griff. That's fine.
There you go.
Hey, Mr. Taylor, how's it going?
Obviously,
Good.
the man behind the scenes making this all happen.
What's up, Griff?
Autism for years.
They try to get me to talk about the program. I said, nah, yeah, text Griff right now. Get Griff in here. That's Griff. Griff got that. I was like, get Griff. I said, get Griff in here right now.
Dal's always.
So we'll save the basketball questions for Delroy. What's up?
Yes, the basketball questions for me. The rest is for Griff.
Okay, so let's transfer to Griff. Stay here, Delroy. We'll get back to the hoops in a minute. So good to see you, Griffin. Real quick, the program NYC. Tell us a little bit about what that's about, real quick.
Yeah, for sure. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, right on.
We hear you great.
Cool, awesome. Well, it's great. It's great to connect with you guys again. I know we met briefly last summer. The program, man, it's my newest venture. I've been working on it nonstop the last 18 months. We are opening a 13,000 square foot basketball facility in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. It's going to have
Greenpoint.
It's going to have regulation court with stadium seating. It's going to have a juice bar. It's going to have a turf training area. It's going to have a hyper ice recovery room. It's going to have a film study room, locker rooms, bathrooms. And, really the premise is, for 75 years, right, New York City had a certain swagger and reputation as the Mecca for basketball. We produced Division I NBA talent at unprecedented levels. Go back to Dr. J at the Rucker, Kenny Smith going up against Chris Mullin in the 80s, really all the way through when Delroy was coming up, right, through the New York City high school ranks. And you turn on a Big Easter and ACC game, and it felt like half the players on the court went to a New York City high school. The last 10, 15 years, New York just doesn't have the same reputation at the youth and grassroots level. There's statistics to show that we're just trailing much smaller markets and states in terms of the kids we're producing. And so my business partner and I are raising $5 million. We're almost done with our raise. Jay-Z's invested, Rock Nation's invested, Carmelo Anthony's invested, JJ Redick, Kenny Smith, Chris Mullin. We've been kind of moving in the dark on it until we're done with the raising of the money. And we got some really big announcements in the next couple of weeks actually about to drop. And we're going to start construction at the end of the summer. And basically it's going to be like an elite training and development facility that's just going to bring kind of the best coaches like Ross Burns, who's a really well-known trainer in New York, Book Richardson, who ran the Gauchos for a long time. Guys like that, who are really big time. And we want to kind of bring the youth talent of the tri-state under our roof and sort of just, give them better resources to be successful. And we're going to have kind of like an Equinox type membership model around it. And then we're going to ultimately create a prep school, like an academy team that's going to compete against teams like Oak Hill. And what you're seeing happening right now across the country with these specialized high schools is kind of what we're going to try to do, focusing on New York kids. So I'm hoping Delroy will be a big part of it once it's built. And I'm really excited to run the team back this summer, kind of with the project and name and my company behind it. And I think some of our big time investors are going to get really involved and excited about the TBT team. So we're all kind of one big family at this point. And Delroy's been there since the first TBT win we ever had, back in 2017. So really, really, really happy to still be able to rock with him on this.
So it's really funny talking about this because we got 3 New Yorkers and we have Charge, right? We have Brooklyn, we have guys from New York. And looking at Griff's ceiling, that kind of, just throwing you in here. The ceiling, the trim you have in those old school things, it's a very New York detail, like a apartment. Because you see, like, no matter what you see, that sort of molding is very common in New York. So Griff, you start construction in the summer. So you already have an architect, right?
Yeah, we got an architect who's way too expensive. And we got
hey, I know a cheaper one.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, the lawsuit for breaking the contract with him would be more than hiring a cheaper one. No, we have a great architect. We got great people, and we have a big article.
I'll design the second one
coming out. Yeah, no, for sure. We're gonna need we're gonna outgrow this first one quickly, so we'll need to do more.
Yeah. Hey, before we get into team
charge, I'm actually gonna get work out of this.
So you guys are all New York City, but really random. Alfred University. I'm a Western New York guy, so I'm very familiar with Alfred University. Did you grow up in that area, or did you come from?
No, I grew up here. It was the only college that would accept me with my grades. So I went there to try to play basketball. I was the worst player on the team. So I learned quickly I was going to do a better job working at basketball than playing it. But
oh, that's funny.
I did. I hold Western New York near and dear to my heart. A lot of people, a lot of New Yorkers, like 5 boroughs New Yorkers, they mistake Western New York for like upstate New York, and it's a totally different market and lifestyle.
But yeah, I found that cool that Alfred was there. So, hey, we won't talk about the middle of nowhere, Western New York. So let's jump into the team. And you already mentioned it. You and Delroy have been connected for at least 5 years now. So going back to the team fancy days for at least 2 years, and then 3 years with Autism Army. So let's talk a little bit about the players. And when I was doing the research for this, what I found interesting last year is there's really no star of this team. When you look at, you had 4 guys in double digits. You had Nigel Johnson led the way at 12.3 points a game, and Daryl Monroe at 10. So 4 guys over 10. So, that's fascinating how a team can come together like that, be unselfish. And the good news is you have them all back, except it looks like Daryl right now, unless he's just not on the roster right now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know if I'll let Del speak a little bit to the personnel also. I mean, I would just say real quick, and I don't want to take too much time. But I would say last year, part of I know Seth Greenberg's super involved with TBT over the years, right? And I know whenever he's previewing his NCAA teams that he likes to win it all. He always says get old and stay old, right, at the NCAA level. And I think like it was no secret that our average age on our team, we led the tournament in icy hot for sure. But part of the benefits that come with that is guys like Delroy and Daryl and Isaiah, right? Like they've played the game at such a high level for so many years that there's no egos, right? I think one challenge with TBT is you'll have teams that have big names, big time players, right? But some of them might have a different agenda than just winning it all. It might be, oh, this is a platform for me to get exposure, or, this is for me to go off. And so I think like with our team, part of the advantage of having veterans is like, nobody has any ego, right? Everyone's already accomplished a lot. So it's really just about how can we all play a part in having the best team we can. And I think you see, like, I'm sure we led the league in assists, and if not assists, definitely like, what do they call it? Hockey assists, right? Like just when you watch highlights of our team's games, right? Everyone shares the ball. The ball never sticks. And I think it's a testament to having veteran guys. And I think part of the reason that the statistics and the scoring averages, no one's averaging 20, but so many guys are averaging 10 is everyone's just figuring out who's got it going that night and who's going to get the best shot. And I think it's a testament to Delroy and his teammates and just kind of how unselfish they are, how much experience they have in terms of understanding how to win basketball games.
Yeah. Delroy, too, going back to you, talking about what Griff just said and building on that, obviously, I would say actually the team does not have any stars. You guys have a lot of stars, but you actually do share the ball. I had the pleasure of watching most of your games last year, and I will back what Griff said. The ball did move. You guys were basically choose the open man's the hot man, right? The open man's the go-to guy. So how were you guys able to play that cohesively? You guys don't have a background playing at the same college or the same sort of background as teammates. How are you able to get together so quickly to play that cohesively?
Well, I guess it's just great. I don't know. I don't even want to sound cliche, but great recruitment. We always pick the right guys. We always pick the right guy to mesh. Even back to the year prior when we had D'Angelo Harrison, who's back. He's normally a high volume, big time scorer, but when you look at the parts and you look at the pieces and you realize what the cause and what is behind, I think it's easy. Like we all definitely played at high level, and we knows that success brings more success. Like if you win, everyone's literally happy. And that could really be entertained and get messed up in ways that, like we said, we lost in the championship. And that was like not just being fully blunt. That was the only game I felt last year we didn't feel like a team, or we were like out of our own sync. Maybe this stage was too bright, who knows? But when we played them games, and we've been together at this team with this name for what, 2 years now? Going into our third year, and what are we, like 9-2? You know what I'm saying? We played games enough, and all of us played in great levels. And I think when we get on that court, as soon as we get that first practice of us just playing and figuring each other out and seeing what we all could do, it's just we play to win. Honestly speaking, we definitely play to win, and I'm pretty excited. I've never been a guy that like the target's on our back, but I feel like it's gonna be on our back now. I don't like stuff like that, but I want to see how many people react. I always like sneaking up on people on the basketball court because that's how my career has been. That's how I've done it. But I think we've opened up a lot of eyes, and people is gonna look at the name and just realize, like, yeah, they got their type of pieces. It's about a culture too. Like I think we've built a culture these last 2 years, and I think that's what we have to build on.
Yeah, no, that culture is so important. And like I said, not only having guys with no egos, but guys playing for a similar cause and similar passion. Is there was no one that was going to let no one down last year. We're all in this together. And the thing with age and TBT, I used to be like, yo, these guys are way too old. And when I say that, may have made a comment about the Autism Army in the past, may have made a comment about Team 23 in the past, but man alive.
They're younger than us, George.
They're way younger than us. But it's just amazing. I think that kind of 30 plus has done so well in the TBT in the past. Even overseas elites teams, they weren't in their young 20s, but they've always done so well. So I've got, for whatever reason, I think Griffin said, it's just they know how to play ball, and they've been through it all. They've seen it, and just as well. So Delroy, you mentioned D'Angelo Harrison. So you're bringing back this really nice core of Nigel, you, Isaiah. You mentioned D'Angelo Harrison, who was fantastic for you 2 years ago, and you still got some more guys on that roster that are pretty impressive as well. So why don't you tell us a couple of the other guys that you've added to the roster that you're excited about?
I'm excited about the whole team. I'm excited to get Ron Murch back, who had a great year in France. Isaiah will be moving to like the coaching side of things. Like he'll be moving to the coaching side with also some more Nixon. We got our coach back. We brought back Ryan Pearson, who's an underside big that just plays the right way. You guys brought up Daryl. I'm literally every day, my biggest thing is getting Daryl to play, because as much as everything goes, I feel like he is the key to me personally. Like he's such a talent that's just rare in terms of being able to score on the block, being able to pass the ball, being able to understand the game. And we have Stephon Moody, explosive scorer, explosive distributor. We have a couple of bigs that's there. But like I said, I think the core is back. The mentality is back. I just got to get Daryl back to be fully completed in my brain and my heart.
Yeah.
So, and this question is for whoever wants to answer it. You guys have gotten really close to winning the whole thing, and there's nothing greater than winning a bunch of TBT games. There's nothing worse than losing the final, obviously.
Of course.
The teams who have lost in the final have a checkered past the year after in the history of this event. What will it take for not only you guys to get over the hump and win the whole thing, but also fight off the sophomore burst of having a tough year after a deep run? Like, how do you guys pay off the promise of such a great team and win the whole thing this year? What's it going to take?
I don't know. I won't consider it a sophomore thing. I would just consider if every game is going to be nerve-wracking, and we know this. You know what I'm saying? I just feel it is just, if we lose playing our way, I'll be fine. That's all. I'll be sad that we lose, but if we lose not our culture, not our way, then I'll be upset. But if we lose our way, like if we go out our way, I'll be fine. Like I'll be personally fine. And honestly, since TBT inception, every year it's become tougher. Like last year was tough. Like other than losing that last game, our first game was the hardest game. Like if people really sit down and watch that St. Peter's game, that last 2 minutes we were down by like 5. Yeah, it was. I'm Rucker running back. I'm like, this is over already. But we really fought. We fought and we clawed. So I just feel like we've seen it all, and we just got to take it one game at a time. But know the end goal will be what it is. And I don't know if it's a sophomore thing, because I didn't know this until after we lost last year. I didn't know the Buffalo team lost in the championship the year prior. I didn't know that.
They've been impressive, yeah. And then they're almost the opposite. They're the youth. They're showing the example of the youth. And
what was it like covering Nick Perkins? You had to cover him, didn't you?
Yeah, I guarded Nick a couple of times. Yeah, I guarded Nick a couple of times.
He's massive.
Yeah, he's huge. But I've guarded, honestly, bigger players than him. Like I've had to guard Amari Stoudemire. I've guarded big, strong, burly people before. I would think, even talking about that game, our biggest thing was the guards on their squad side just started off too hot. They started off lights out from the 3, and it was before you know it, it was 3. So I don't want to get back on that, but yeah, we just gotta go.
No. That's old news.
Yeah,
looking forward. If you were impressed with, well, I guess you guys mentioned the same team. This is actually your third name, but we won't go into all that. So we're the program of autism. If you were impressed with Americana for autism last year, this team is just. I mean, it's +1-2 with D'Angelo Harrison. Delroy talked about some guys, but you got AJ English, you got Moody, you got Tayshawn Thomas. I mean, this is like just insane how rich and deep this team is going to be. So, stay tuned for that. But since we have Griffin on, let's talk a little bit about the region. And my understanding, you guys are leaning towards Xavier for the region, because right now it's blank on the website, but kind of heard it was probably Xavier.
Yeah, our intention is to go to Xavier for a multitude of reasons.
Yeah, Xavier, which is good.
I would bring to go back to Delroy's point, I would just say one more thing too. Like I watched the YouTube highlights of that St. Peter's game all the time. And it's crazy how close we were, like, to losing in the first round. And it speaks to the one and done nature and the unpredictable nature and the depth of TBT. I think one thing this year that's going to prevent any type of slump is, like, we understand that I think in 5 of the 6 games last year, at some point we were losing in the second half, and we came back to win almost every single one of those. But, Fat Joe has a quote, yesterday's price is not today's price. Last year's success is no guarantee of this year's. And I think part of having guys like Delroy, who's won 9-10 games in TBT, is understanding that, that first round game, we got to compete like hell, right?
Like hell, so it's the most important one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just one. I think it's the most important.
I don't think anyone's going to walk in there thinking anything was handed to us, because we had to battle so many games last year that we were losing in, So, but yeah, we're planning to go to Xavier for a multitude of reasons. Really nice arena, right? I think that's a great arena to play in. I think if we get to a point where we match up against Xavier or Cincinnati, I think we'll kind of feed off having a lot of fans in the stands and the good energy of the crowd. And haven't spent too many days in Dayton. I think it'll be nice being in a real city that has direct flights and has restaurants and food. And I think for a multitude of reasons as a region, it makes a lot of sense for us.
Yeah, just avoid the skyline.
Just through Dayton under the bus.
Skyline on your visit.
Cincinnati and Xavier is in that region.
Yeah,
Cincinnati,
yeah. So here's
makes sense.
Big teams out there. Yeah. So you got the Buccaneers over there, who their team's gone through a pretty big overhaul this year, losing to Santa Bradford.
Lost Merriweather.
Jackson.
Oh, Bradford, yeah,
Tennessee.
they're retired.
Yeah, so you got them. You got the Cincinnati team. You've got Zip 'em Up, obviously, and then the money team is probably one of the ones that are kind of tried in true with that region. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely a winnable region. I think.
Let me ask you guys a question. I think this is taped and then going to go live. If we were to enter a region, what would you guys recommend?
Wichita.
We're actually doing our full bracketology Sunday.
Okay, but, Wichita. I've heard multiple people tell us Wichita.
See,
Wichita.
Wichita, if you're a mid-league team to bubble, but Wichita State, nobody wants to go play Wichita State right now. I mean, I think they overperform every single year with that crowd, and but I don't think this is a bad region at all. I think there's good teams here, but I think it's one of those ones. If you show up right, you can go there. But yeah, ask me that question again Sunday, and my answer may change once we deep dive it. But yeah, I don't think it's a bad one at all. I think Lubbock's kind of scary with their question in a home team, and they're really talented.
The bigger question is, Griff, which one will be cheapest to fly me to? Because you guys are 4-0.
Oh yeah, you went on.
So I'll email you my TSA pre-number and my hotel points card. So you can get me there. We'll get you
right on. We'll get you right on the Spirit Airlines flight.
Yeah.
That's a favorite. Spirit, the Greyhound of the skies. Yeah, you can fly somewhere for $50. I like. Spirit's great for what it is, actually, but it's what it is, right? You have to push the plane.
First class.
First class in Spirit just means you actually are inside the plane and not on the wing. Basically,
you're allowed to bring the bag. I think, yeah, that's about it. The benefits, but yeah, Cincinnati.
I think it's just clothes you wear.
Go for it, Hayner.
Spirit Airlines, the Greyhound of the skies. Okay, so look, the thing about TBT is there's three kinds of teams: teams with no narrative, teams with alumni, and teams that have an actual cause people believe in. There's a few teams like that: Sideline Cancer, and obviously Program for Autism. So Delroy, obviously people are going to think this is very important about raising awareness about autism. Why are casual fans going to root for your success?
I don't know. I can't say why a fan will root for our success. I would just say root for the cause. Like, even if we lose, root for the cause. You know what I'm saying? Root for the reason we're playing. Like, of course, if you support in it, you can support us in a loss as well. Just root for the cause of what we're playing for on our jerseys. We have three players playing or a part of the staff that's affected by children with autism. So 3 becomes 12 or 13 because we've been doing it 3 years now. Everybody feels like my son is a part of their son. Griffith's met my son. Most of the team has met my son, as he was saying at the bench in Rucker. Isaiah's son was there. Jacobin, his child is affected as well. So just support the cause. It's not even our success, but we're gonna try to make more. Our success just bring more awareness. So once you're there, just support the cause, and that we'll try to worry about the rest.
Yeah, support the cause. It's a great way to leave it. JalenSpectrum.org, by the way, if you're listening, is the website for Delroy's son's organization. Guys, Delroy James, star player, small forward.
No star.
Very good. Very good player.
The most humble guy we've had
James
on the podcast in years. But I mean, that's what makes it. I mean, we talked about that. I mean, you can look up and down this roster, and people are going to just come there and do their job.
A bunch of solid individuals. That's all we are. I wholeheartedly believe that. Yep.
Very good player and decent human being, Delroy James, small forward for the Prayer for Autism. GM Griffin Taylor. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Appreciate you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Looking forward to a big summer.
Hope you enjoyed listening to Zoom the TBT with Charge and Hayner. Subscribe to YouTube, follow on Twitter, and give us your money.